There we go. Okay, good. We're working. Last minute scuff, man. I like booted up and then saw like my microphone wasn't working. I was worried for a second there. But welcome in everyone. The Possum Lodge is now open. Bahamut, it's good to see you. Very bad Jojo. Hi. Art, I see you peeking in. I've missed your stream so much, Art. Unfortunately, like my schedule has not been conducive to stream watching lately. So hopefully I will be able to catch some of your VODs in a bit. Definitely want to hear about your Alaska trip. Was able to sneak a peek into your stream. I think that was yesterday. But yeah, miss you. Let's see, catching up in chat. Holy shit, Opie hit puberty, basically. I the Pokemon is just, it's infusing my brain with the recent Nintendo Direct, and I was starting to rant about it to Lore, and then I've been wanting to like just absolutely just lose it about Pokemon lately. Um, got a lot of pent up opinions on things. Luckily, it's going to be pretty lighthearted. I'm not like super serious about it, but I thought it would be fun to do a just chatting stream since I haven't done that in a while. And as you can see, I made a lovely new model in Ken Sugimori style, which is like he was one of the original artists when Pokemon came out. You would see most of his illustrations were for what is it? Red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, and crystal. I don't know if he was still on for Emerald Ruby. I think he still was doing some of it, but I went for a very old school style. Opie is very old. Yes, she is. We're hagging it up over here. So yeah, new fun PNG. I also can't stop making PNG models. Like it's becoming addicting at this point. You know, between the Fumo and the little slug Opie, there's just too many things I could do with PNGs, man. So it's become very, very fun. I will say, getting ready for today's stream, I've just like, it's been insane. One, because it's just like, I love this kind of shit. It's no new news here of, I used to be a teacher, and boy, must I be missing it, because, like, pulling together the materials to talk about it today was just, like, I was, like, riding a high. It was insane. Like, I was like, oh, it feels like teaching, to the point where, like, the way I'm doing it today, I was tossed between doing it whiteboard style or PowerPoint style. PowerPoint was going to be like my last minute low effort ditch version. But I went for the high effort whiteboard style, to give it more of a teachery feel. So I'm kind of excited about that. Oh boy, you should record this stream. I do. Okay, so I don't record them anymore just because of how much space it takes up. But what I have been doing is, the moment I'm done, which I need to actually fix, is I have been uploading every single VOD to YouTube. I realize I don't think I have my YouTube even linked here. So that way I have an archive. I don't think I have all my streams, especially like the first several streams I've done. Unfortunately, I no longer have access to, because I didn't realize Twitch didn't hold on to them forever and ever and ever. So unfortunately, like the early streams of Opie don't quite exist. I think I have like maybe one or two recordings, but yeah, I definitely keep every stream, like, unless I feel like the stream was really, really like dog shit, which I feel like there's been like at least one or two. Do I just not care for the VODs? Otherwise, yeah, pretty much my thing is, the moment I'm done streaming, I go and I upload it to YouTube right away, just so that way there's a copy somewhere out there. One of these days, I'm gonna go and actually like adjust the YouTube, because it's just sporadic. They're just up there unedited, just sitting in the channel. So, but one of these days I do want to like actually go in, organize it, put things together, and, you know, get a little bit better with that and actually get it linked up, because that would be the more important thing. Same, all that exists are my early clips, right? I do have a couple of clips. Like, there is one clip that actually has my OG overlay still on it, back when I was still trying to really push the teachery theme, which makes it look like a whiteboard. So, that does exist. I have proof that it exists. Otherwise, like, what I have now is basically what I've been rolling with. This one will be Opie Jump to Main Street. I believe the Pokemon, right? Ugh. It's I literally, I can't wait. I've got everything set up. It may be a little bit scuffed to start once we move over to the screen so I can start sharing what I've got. But I am like so hyped for it. I have like a notebook. I purchased a notebook to keep all my streaming ideas in. And so I finally got to break it in, and I used it for getting all my I called it my pokey rant ideas. So like everything I wanted to talk about, I did have to narrow it down because otherwise like I literally I could talk for hours and hours about like the whole history of Pokemon, how we got here, yada yada yada. But today we're focusing on specifically Pokemon Switch games. But more specifically looking at Legends Arceus versus Legends ZA, because I was a little bit hopeful for Legends ZA, but after some more information from the Direct, and the last Direct around it, I'm kind of getting a little disappointed here, not gonna lie. Probably not gonna pick it up right on release. I might actually just wait and see. I'll get into the nitty gritty of like my thoughts on that a little bit later, but essentially what it's gonna boil down to is if the story is good, then I might buy into it. Like that's literally the last thing, the last redeeming quality, because it's just like, yeah, if there's no good, decent story to it, I just don't see the point in purchasing it because it's just not a Pokemon game for me then. But let's see, I'm going to go ahead and switch us over. Let's see, before we start the stream, me, Very Bad JoJo, is a very big Pokemon fan and spends way too much money on Pokemon merch. I apologize if I get a little... Dude, this is perfect then. We're having autistic rant time. You might know more than me, because I'm more of a casual fan. I do have like specifics here and there, so definitely fill me in if I'm missing something or don't get it quite right. I did do a little extra research today just to like double check what I remember, because I'm going mostly off of memory. But yes, if I miss anything, let me know, because I've also, like, I still have recently bought the Build-A-Bear Munchlax plush. I have a life-size or kind of life-size Cyndaquil plush. I actually recently got rid of most of my Pokemon cards. That was a hard decision to make, but I kept a lot of them. I didn't completely get rid of them, but from 2017 to 2019, I had a horrific teaching position. And one of my coping mechanisms was purchasing Pokemon cards, which is perfect because during the 2017 to 2019 time frame, Pokemon cards didn't quite come back yet, so it was actually really cheap and affordable to do. Plus, the Dollar Trees around here had the original, like, Dollar Tree packs, which is what I wound up spending most of my money on. So I did get into, like, the Pokemon TCG again during that time as a way to cope. But I did do a major clear out recently of that. And I actually made a decent profit. When I finally cleared out my coping hoard, when I took it into all the cards to get traded in, I made like around $300. Granted, like, I probably could have gotten more if I individually sold, but between ADHD brain, adult life, etc., it was just easier to go to a local game store and drop it off. But I was happy with that. Velvet! Welcome in, Velvet. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Miss Opie Possum. Today we are going on a very autistic Pokemon rant. With all the Pokemon Legends ZA news, I felt like it was about time, and I'm debuting my new PNG model. Carry on, Finch. Thanks for the follow. How was stream, Velvet? I see you've been on a dinkum kick. I do pay attention to all my streamer friends. I haven't been able to pay attention to like streams, but I've been following you guys close on social media and watching your announcements and stuff like that. So I hope Dinkum has been treating you well. It seems like a very addicting game. Good, you locked in super hard. Girl, what? 6.5 hours? Damn. The most I usually could get is up to 4 hours even when I lock in. But thank you. Oh, and thank you for the subscription, Velvet. I appreciate it. You're helping Fritz make his retirement. And in case people were wondering, Fritz is our little possum here with the eyebrows. He's kind of like our mascot. One of these days, I'm going to get around to making him an actual model mascot. Yes, thank you, Very Bad Joke, for contributing. Deep dish pizza and a swarm of plushies. Is this heaven? Yes. Simply put, yes, I am a very Chicagoan possum. So, of course, we're going to feature the deep dish here. We have to have the deep dish. And actually, that is one of the reasons why I got into VTubing. Or quick Opie possum lore. There was a VTuber I was originally following. Lore, I started with the Hololive scene, and who was first? It was Kazuna AI, and then I got into Hololive. But Lore was the one who got into the Twitch small VTuber scene. I was hesitant at first, so I just kind of like watched over his shoulders a lot. But then the VTuber that I was watching over his shoulder was confusing where deep dish pizza came from and thought it was from New York. To be fair, VTuber was Canadian, so I give her a slight pass. But that enraged me so much that I literally made my Twitch account, hopped in, and had to correct her because I love pizza way too much. But yes, so she kind of kicked it off, and then I started getting more involved in communities, and then there was a handful of other VTubers who just kind of gave it the final push of like, this seemed like an interesting hobby, and I wanted to kind of get into it. But yes, thank you, Vet Joke, for contributing the gift sub. Oh, but you don't believe in retirement. You want Papa Fritz to work forever. That's a shame. He's got to continue to eat those peanut husks off the floor then. Opie was meant to be a rant streamer all along. I guess. I need to actually visit Chicago. I've only driven through it. There's just so much. Obviously, try to just stick to the main city area. You don't have much to worry about. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid, gun violence, yada, yada, yada. But I mean, to be fair, so long as you stick to like the main city area, you're good to go. So you never have to worry about it. Thank you for the sub. Fritz is getting close to his retirement. Maybe one of these days, eventually. But thank you. Oh my gosh, we even got a hype train going. Let's go. But welcome in, Raiders. We are just about to get started, so you guys have perfect timing. So let me go ahead. We're going to switch over to our other screen. Fritz will never retire. It has been ordained, has it? Poor Fritz. But yes, all right, we are now set here. Let me see if I can get this set up. I'm going to need to make sure Do Not Disturb is on so we don't dox ourselves, because that's the last thing we need here. All right, and I'm casting. Beautiful. I also have my Switch here ready to go, just in case. I did want to have Pokemon Legend Arceus at least loaded in, because I know there's just some stuff in there that makes it easier to see. I didn't want to go through each of the games, because I have like basically every Switch Pokemon title there is right now. But obviously trying to swap that out, showing all the visuals is too much. Plus, like I said, we were focusing more on Legends Arceus and Legends EA, since that seems to be the hot topic thing. All right, we are casting. Let's see if I could get this to actually show up on screen. I don't know if it's gonna, let's see. I don't know what size it's gonna come out actually, because I did not test this ahead of time. Let's try, you know what, we just gotta add in a new source at this point, because I think it got messed. Let's see, this is gonna be the air server, because I'm connecting my iPad. Like I said, I'm going whiteboard style. I'm channeling my teacher instincts, man. I was like, no, I need to be able to write and scribble and just go crazy with it. I've walked like a headless finch through Boston. I'd probably be fine. Yeah. Oh, we're little Pokemon now. That's very cute. Yeah. I do have stream avatars. I don't always have them booted up. And I do like to cycle through the different stream avatars. So I thought, hey, today's a perfect stream for it. Why not? I love the Pokemon ones. All right, I have it here, but why isn't it showing up? It says that it's connected. Maybe I need to connect it as a game instead? Okay, let's get rid of that. That was window capture. Maybe let's do game capture? Let's see if that works. Pardon the scuff. Capture, no, we want to capture a specific window. This one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, even though this is massive. All right, let's get that shrunk down. Hold on. There we go. It's not gonna fit quite perfectly, but I'll take it. And then it's gotta move down. Thank you for your patience. Let's go here and then there. Beautiful. All right. All right, let me catch up with chat now that I've got everything fixed finally. So as you can see, we've got a lot. We've got a lot to discuss. But let me catch up with chat. Let's see, where did I leave off? Hype train, yeah, we got that. It's very cute. You could be a Mimikyu. I don't think you could be a Mimikyu. So I found out Stream Avatars does limit how many packs you can have. So I was only able to get up to like Gen 6. Otherwise, like, yeah, I would totally max it out. So unfortunately, no Mimikyu. Oh, nice Poke Chatters. Yeah, streamer, please. I know. I just wasn't able to. Oh boy, Espeon time. I love Espeon. Definitely one of my favorite evolutions. I beg you. I don't think I can. Can you add it while? No, I can't add it while live. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, thank you for the gift subs. Holy cats, what's going on today? Hype train indeed. Jeez, I picked a really good day to stream, huh? But thank you for all these gift subs. All right, for that, you know what? Let me try. I'm going to disconnect. Stream Avatars, you're going to disappear for a millisecond. Let's see. Alola is... What generation is that? Let's see, Pokemon. First, I'm going to filter it to Pokemon. I believe it's Gen 7. Yeah, Gen 7 Alola. Let's see, download, continue. Will that be too much? Continue. Looks like we're good. Reconnecting. There we go. Uh-oh. Why are we glitching out? People need to go over here. Where did my blocks go? Yeah, no, you guys. Hold on. There we go. Everyone over. All right, I think Mimikyu should be available. Let me see. I can search it here. Mimikyu. Yes, it can. It is available. All right, so there we go. I got you, Mimikyu, JoJo. You'll have to search for it. You might need to refresh the page to show up. But okay, be right back, Velvet. I'm good. Go lay down. Catching up with chat really quick. There's a panel below. Yes. Opie is wrestling her tech. Oh yeah, you better believe. There we go. So JoJo, I gotcha. So hopefully the Mimikyu should show up. You might need to refresh the page. Oh my goodness, lots of chat. Let's go. Thank you. Ah, nice. All right, good. We caught up with chat. I love you, Opie. I love you too, JoJo. All right. Hopefully your Mimikyu will show up. If not, let me know, because there actually is a way for me. I found out last night that you could actually, like, assign people their Pokemon, which is nice. Which is why Lore Master is already in Ursa Ring, because I was like, oh, he's just a Junkelskog. All right. To begin the Pokemon ranting, it is time. So obviously we've had a lot of Nintendo Directs recently, and the new Pokemon game that is being released is called Pokemon Legends ZA. It is, you know what, we are going to start here. We're going to zoom in here. Like I said, we're focusing on Switch games. So as you can see, you know what, we could go closer for this. With the Switch games, this is all that's been released so far. It started off with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. That was their first dip into the Nintendo Switch with more of the dynamic movement. So we've, moved from the DS, where, you were using button controls. You did have the stylus and stuff like that, but now we're moving into more of a 3D environment, more 3D graphics, and then, of course, with the Joy-Cons that work a little bit like the Wii remote controllers, you can toss the Pokeball. It worked a lot like Pokemon Go, and it was basically, this was just a republishing, essentially, of Pokemon like Yellow, Red, and Blue. Same story. story. There's like some minor differences. But basically you're back in Kanto and you're doing the whole Team Rocket thing. You're battling, you're getting Mewtwo at the end. Pretty straightforward. It was a simple remake to bring into the modern era with some more like fun attempts at graphics, and to like test some of the 3D graphics in the Switch. The Pokemon could follow you around. You could ride on some of the Pokemon. They had some lovely idle and movement animations. If we have a little more time, I could boot that up and we could take a look at that. But I loved it. I think it was nice and sweet. It was nice and easy. It was great. And here's a big thing. As much as I love Pokemon, and there are lots of people who love Pokemon, we do need to remember, ultimately, these are kid games. Like, yes, it is for everyone, but the main focus of when they're developing these games are for the younger kids. So with a lot of these game mechanics, as much as we want, or some people will want more advanced things, I think it's still important to keep things a little bit simplistic. And I do think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee really nailed that on the head. It was great, especially for younger kids who aren't as dexterous, and it allowed buddy play. It did have a couch co-op option, essentially, which is, like, phenomenal in this day and age. You really don't get couch co-op anymore. It's insane. So definitely recommended it. I love it. Let's see. Then we moved on to Sword and Shield. Now, yes, I know there were some, like, complaints about graphics and stuff like that, but to be honest, like, this is Pokemon's first step into the 3D realm. Like, Alola was kind of like, or Sun and Moon was kind of like the first branch into 3D, but it was still very pixelated-y. It was kind of like a branch between the two. But this was their first branch into 3D, and to be fair, I really don't think it looked all that bad. I feel like, yes, it was the first one to slash the Pokedex, though. I have mixed feelings on that. On one hand, yes, I would love to have, especially this. This is, oh, hold on, let me switch. Where's my pen? There we go. This was a mainline game. This is a spin-off game. So, obviously, things happening in these we didn't really care so much about. It was supposed to be a spinoff. It wasn't mainline. We're not going to worry about it. But this was a mainline, and up to this point, with the mainline games, at least up till Sun and Moon, you could have every single Pokemon. It was called the National Dex. But with Pokemon Sword and Shield, they just decided, no, we're going to limit what Pokemon you could bring in or not bring in. Which I have, like I said, mixed feelings about. I can understand why, because I'm just thinking as a person who develops games, like, to be fair, we're not at 1,000 Pokemon yet here in Pokemon Sword and Shield. We reached the 1,000 Pokemon mark in Scarlet Violet. That's a lot of fucking programming and animating. And especially with what they're trying to do, if you think about just one Pokemon, let's use Pikachu as an example because he's nice and easy. We're talking there is a walking animation, an idle animation, a playing animation, then your various battle animations and stuff like that, and they're going to have to do that for every single Pokemon. It does get kind of insane. So on one hand, while I miss having every Pokemon in the game, on the other hand, I do understand, like, from more of a producer kind of perspective, it becomes difficult. And unfortunately, I do think future games, we're not going to have full national dexes anymore. It's just not realistic to upkeep. I'd be interested if that changes and they do keep it, but I think realistically, that's kind of the future of it. The safety of the bit. Oh, good. I feel like it was inevitable that they were going to restrict how much of the Pokedex was available in each generation. It was just a matter of time when they were ready to deal with the fallout. Exactly. Lurk time. Go rest and eat, Velvet. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. But yeah, Sword and Shield. This was also, like I said, we're first branching into 3D stuff. One new game mechanic No, two new game mechanics. Two new game mechanics came about in Sword and Shield. First of all, was kind of like an open world concept. Now, it was still restricted, like you still had routes and stuff like that, but you had this place called a wild area where it was just kind of like a free roam. It was like an open sandbox kind of game where you could just wander wherever you wanted, and there would just be Pokemon out and about. So that was very cool to see. I was actually fine with it a little bit. It did make the routes a little pointless though. But it was only pointless in the sense of like, in order from move to route, you did have like a transition screen, you know, where the screen fades to black and then it fades back in when you go to the new route. I think if they kept the routes, now, obviously, at this time, probably not doable, but if they kept the routes, but then didn't need that transition and it was just seamless, I think it would have felt a little bit more immersive. But for what it was worth at that time, it was phenomenal. Yeah, open world. It was a little restricted. It makes filling the Pokedex a pain in the ass. Exactly. The other mechanic, hi Talon, the other mechanic they added in was a raid mechanic. Now, they were pulling this a little bit from Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go definitely influenced basically the rest of these Switch games. Because here with Pikachu and Eevee, how you capture Pokemon is literally you're just throwing Pokeballs at them. You actually do not battle them whatsoever. There are Pokemon battles in the sense that you battle trainers and stuff like that. Like that game mechanic was still there. But for the most part, when you encountered a Pokemon, all you did was throw a Pokeball at it. For Sword and Shield, they did go back to the original. You gotta battle the Pokemon, throw a Pokeball, but they introduced a raid mechanic. Now, one of the gimmicks in Sword and Shield was to Dynamax your Pokemon, which, as you can see here, that is a huge freaking Gyarados. Like, he is massive compared to all these little guys down here. And basically the whole thing is you team up with 4 players. If you're in offline mode, they are auto-generated, so you get NPCs. And if you are in online mode, you could get random people or have a special link code to bring in specific people. A big boy, yes. These battles basically allowed you to capture those Pokemon at the end once you got it down to 0 health. It was a slightly higher capture chance. There was, depending on certain mechanics, they would reduce the ability of whether or not the Pokemon would stay in the Pokeball. But for the most part, like, I don't know, when I did a lot of these raids, I really didn't have a lot of issues with them just disappearing. I also kind of liked the mechanic for one specific reason. Up to this point, experiencing and leveling up your Pokemon basically only came from battling. You had to either just go out into the grass and constantly knock out Pokemon, or at least find trainers or like battle areas to level them up. Now, I didn't always mind that. I feel like as the game, more and more games progressed, I feel like they finally kind of nailed the experience share, and experience, accumulation a little bit better. But I know for a fact, like the earlier games, my first game was Pokemon Gold and then Pokemon Crystal. That was probably the part of the game I hated the most, and why I put it down and never finished, was just, I couldn't stand spending hours and hours just going to the grass, knocking Pokemon out, going into the grass, knocking Pokemon out, etc. So I was happy to see with this raiding mechanic, you basically got experience candies, and that would help level up your Pokemon. So I thought that was a little bit more fun, at least for me. I know there's a lot of people who hated the raid mechanic, but personally, I thought it was not too much of an issue. The thing I do agree with, though, is like the online components, which is something we are going to talk about later, is the fact that why Pokemon went online and whether or not that was necessary. But that was one of their main mechanics. The other thing that got introduced to Sword and Shield was DLCs, which I know that's kind of a hot button topic, but let's see. Oh, and I am missing chat again. Let's see. I haven't gotten to play anything the past Black 2, so hearing about what's been added is crazy. I haven't kept up with much besides looking at the newer Pokemon. Well, welcome in. I will get you caught up. To be fair, my Pokemon journey is I played Gold, Crystal, a little bit of Emerald, because Emerald was technically my brother's game and I wasn't allowed to save. So I was allowed to start a game, I would go as far as I possibly could, and then I would just shut off the Game Boy Advance and therefore lose my progress. So I did that a couple of times because I still enjoyed it regardless. But then I took a break after that, mostly just because I lost interest kind of as a kid, and then I didn't come back basically until I saw Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Like that sold me in 100%. All right. So, and so like I said, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee really grabbed me because I love the immersiveness of it. Um, but yes, so Pokemon Sword and Shield, we have our first kind of quote unquote open world concept. We've got the new raid mechanics going on, and then of course the debatable DLC expansions. So statistically, you should catch all raid Pokemon if you hit the Poke. I kind of agree with that too. I lost a couple when I was playing where it was just like this raid was nearly impossible, and then the fact that the Pokemon popped out was just like, no. After going through all of that, I should be like rewarded with this Pokemon. To be honest, I hate the raid just because of how slow it was. Okay, that I also agree. I prefer the raid mechanic as a way for gaining experience. I do not like how the raid mechanic has been functioning lately. I think they really, really, really need to refine that process. Especially like, to be honest, like in once we get to Scarlet Violet, those raids did not get any better. Unfortunately, it's just like, to be honest, it is just as bad. There is a little bit more of a zippiness that needs to happen for a lot of these raids. I like raids. The problem with the raids is that playing raid alone is suicided. Yes, exactly. Well, and especially when you get, what is it, Martin's Solar Rock, use cosmic power. What a useless move against in a raid. But also like the Dynamax Adventure Dungeon area, like that also became kind of a slog. So on one hand, I liked the raids. I liked it as a way to gain experience. It made it a lot easier to level up. On the other hand, there are a lot of shortfalls with it. But as you can see here, we have kind of release dates as well. Pikachu and Eevee came out 18, Sword and Shield was 2019, so we have a really tight schedule. You could see Pokemon, at least in the around the 2020 era, was kind of really pumping them out fast. The DLC raids take way, way too long. Agreed. I think it was fun as a one-off mechanic or like a story mechanic. That DLC dungeon, not dungeon, but the den raids. I think it was interesting as like I said, a story mechanic. It was not something I went back to and played again. But that was Sword and Shield. Then we move on to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. This one was kind of like an oddball. It was a remake. So some people appreciate having it be remade, but the biggest issue was the graphics. They kind of went with this like chibi style, kind of harkening back more to the DS style games. And I know that was like hit or miss for a lot of people, but essentially, Diamond and Pearl functioned exactly the same way as they did when they originally released. It was just basically a graphics upgrade with some minor like back end tweaks to like certain like experience generation and things like that. So it was kind of like a, I don't know, like I don't hear a lot of people like praising it, but I also didn't hear a lot of guff about it apart from just the art direction. Deleting secret bases was fucked up part of the game. Yeah. I thought that was lame. Like they should have added something cool. Exactly. So like I said, the Diamond and Pearl, I don't know, like, obviously remakes are always, in Pokemon world, remakes are great, especially, like, the older games, because, like I said, Nintendo has been slacking on their backwards compatibility kind of stuff of, like, oh, we should still be able to access and play these games, because, like, right now, if you want to play Pokemon Crystal, the only way to do that is either A, through an emulator, or B, going and buying currently, I just looked this up yesterday, a cartridge, if you replace the battery, because that's the other thing that you're going to have to do in order to make it work. A crystal, the cartridge of Crystal right now is going for $125. So obviously emulate at that point. But having remakes has been kind of nice. So like I said, Diamond, Pearl, kind of hit or miss with that depending on what you like. Um, just like decorating my Pokey Slum house. Wow. Like Heart Gold and Soul Silver went so crazy. I love those games. Exactly. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl were honestly very mad. They really were. Like I picked it up because I was bored. I honestly like I remember going to the GameStop. It was like January. I'm like none of my games are hitting. I'm going to go and pick up like a discounted version. I picked up Pearl. And I think I did play it on stream a couple of times, but it is what it is. It was very meh. But not a lot of people cared about it. Then we move on to one of our hot topics today, which is Pokemon's Legends Arceus. I'm going to go into in-depth detail. Uh-oh. What? Something bleep booped. Are we good? Okay, there we go. I don't know. My computer just decided to just bleep bloop on me and freeze stuff up, but we're good. I'm going to go into detail about Legends Arceus a little bit later, so we're not going to get in too much, but essentially what you need to know about the Switch game here is, like I said, you know, we got our, where's my freaking, there we go. We have a spin-off, mainline, we got a remake. This is technically a spin-off. This is another mainline game, and this is going to be technically a spin-off. Marissa is having a fit. She is. The best Pokemon in the Switch, right? I very much like this game. Like, I don't know. I feel like a little bummed that the next one is supposed to be, I don't know, futuristic. Girl, don't get me started. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why I'm having this Pokemon rant, is literally because I kind of have the same feeling. There's some other opinions in there as well, but we're going to get there. So like I said, we're going to come back to Arceus. Great spin-off series. We're going to go into detail a little bit later. But after Sword and Shield had some issues, I would say minor graphic issues, minor gameplay issues, overall not too bad, especially since this is like their first venture into this kind of style. Unfinished, not meant for the console, it released on garbage. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Yeah. Now on to this one. I actually did buy Violet. Just so you know, up to this point, these all had cartridges. It has been basically since Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee. I decided that like it's just going to be my thing that if I'm going to have a Pokemon game, it has to have a cartridge. Because that's where my Pokemon live. They need to live on the cartridge. So like any Pokemon game I want to purchase, it needs to have a cartridge. And up to this point, they've had cartridges. Now the sad thing is that eventually I did kind of find out that around here, and especially here, the cartridge is almost useless. So, because it's not the full game on the cartridge. You have to connect to the internet in order to play the game. You cannot pop the cartridge in and just play it as is, which is just... that... Actually, you know what? No, we're going to debut something here. That is unexcusable. I'm sorry. But no. We should be able to have a cartridge, and it should have the whole freaking game floated on there. My Pokemon need to live there. For example, I still have my Pokemon Crystal cartridge. If I resolder the battery in, like put a new battery in, my Pokemon will still be there. I could still play it. Can I do that with Sword and Shield? Can I do that with Violet? No. They kind of live there, but not really. And I'm mad. And I found out, too, that by this, there is no game on the cartridge at all. At least with these guys, there's a cartridge. There's at least a partial game on there, but you need to be connected to the internet to download all the patches and issues and stuff like that. We should totally have a medieval Pokemon. Give me Pokemon Dynasty Warriors. I want Nobunga to challenge me for control of Sinnoh and his Gyarados' name Blessings of the Amerdon or something. That would be beautiful. I have good news. Behold, Pokemon Conquest, right? The DS was the era for experimental Pokemon. I do agree. Everything after that is just the same. Yeah. Oh yeah, the fake physical copies. That's what I'm really mad about. The Legend ZA, there's no game on it. It is a code that just unleashes the game from the internet. And it's like, why? I want my hardware. Give me my physical thing that I could click into my Switch and play. Ugh. But yeah. Cartridges. Yeah, but like Legends Arceus, I want to be a Pokemon history type thing, not a self-aware crossover. Fair. Remember when games weren't 70 terabytes inside? Agreed. Day one, 15 gigabyte patch. Exactly. And also, like, that's another whole thing. The Switch doesn't even have that capacity. You have to buy additional SD cards to give it that capacity. It's insane. Okay, never actually got up to get food time. Actually, girl, go eat. Go eat. But now we're on to this child here. Our lovely Scarlet Violet. So like I said, I went out and bought the cartridge. And I already heard about some of the glitchiness of the game already. And I was like, surely it can't be that bad. It was that bad. I booted it up. The glitches on release were so freaking bad. I actually went back to GameStop and tried to return it. Like, I was just like, this game is unplayable. You literally cannot play because of how bad everything is glitching out, how bad everything is moving, etc. It was horrific. I genuinely tried to return it. Unfortunately, GameStop has a policy that if you've already opened it and plugged it in, it cannot be returned, which at that point is just also like, I feel like if you just have a short time return window, that should be okay. Because like, it was a matter of days after getting it. But I digress. It was bad. And overall, things didn't really improve much. It is at least now playable, I will say. All the relevant DS games fit a 50 gigabyte SD cards, right? The game was unplayable on release. It runned at 10 FPS. It really did. I got really lucky. I didn't experience any catastrophic bugs with Scarlet Violet. That's good. I'm pretty sure I am going to boot up my Switch. I have some recordings of like some really bizarre stuff happening. We might take a peek at those in a little bit. Happy Sunday, Opie. Happy Sunday, Raz. Welcome in. We are just venting about Pokemon and the state of Pokemon right now. I had one instance where the game crashed to the home screen, but I was really fortunate that it was as bad as you encountered. That's good. I luckily did not have crashes, but I definitely had a lot of the, oh, my model is clipping through stuff. I am now stuck between a building and a rock and cannot move, and I have to force shut down the Switch in order for it to move on. I think at one point it did like freeze up my Switch, and I was genuinely worried that it bricked it. Terrifying. But where Opie has unleashed her teacher Sona and is teaching us. Agreed. I am living it up. I've got my little whiteboard here. I'm drawing. I'm teaching. This is like, I'm in heaven. I miss this. On release, the game deleted my save. No. That really says everything about what I think about. I don't blame you. Now, the other thing about this game, too, is it was fully open world. I do like that. I think they did a pretty good job making that seamless. You didn't have these weird transitions between routes. You didn't have these weird, like, fading in, fading out stuff. I think they nailed that. That was really good. Graphics were so-so. Definitely okay. Like, they weren't awful. Like, I know a lot of people were complaining, but I just feel like it's just a Pokemon game. They've never been high detail. And that's okay. Now, granted, yeah, on release, it was really, really bad. They did do some patches a little bit later to improve on things a little bit, so it's not awful. That's a lie. Look at the DS ones. But I think they did well on the open design. I also liked how it flowed too, in the sense of that there was multiple ways to engage with the story. They were trying to make it non-linear, but unfortunately the way Pokemon is set up is you kind of need it to be linear. Especially if you're doing the traditional, you go to the gyms, you battle the gym leaders, and you progress the story. A lot of people, apart from just the graphic designs of Scarlet and Violet, dropped it because they didn't know what to do. Which, fair, because I also almost dropped the game because I was like, I don't know where to go next. What am I supposed to do next? And then the thing is that the gyms were sporadic. So, like, actually, close to start, you had a level 70 gym nearby. So, of course, it's like if you go there and try, which, to be fair, I think that kind of simulates quote unquote real life Pokemon to a certain extent, but I feel like, oh, there should have been like a newsstand or a brochure or someone been like, hey, just so you know, this gym leader uses this level Pokemon. You know, I don't know. The school has no purpose, by the way. It's just there for the sake of it. Basically. Also, I could do a whole rant on that as well. There are some, how do I say it? Not good teacher-student relationships going on. There was a lot of red flags as a teacher to be like, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's a hard boundary you are not supposed to cross. Boy, can we get Opie HR department rant? Do it. Maybe. I've been thinking about it. Goes outside, gets jumped by level 80 Gengar. Yes, go, say it, Opie. Teacher creeper slideshow presentation, basically. But I liked the concept. It was sort of like, go out and kind of discover and be your thing. Like, the concept was good. The execution was poor. I do think the school should have tied in a little bit more. There maybe should have been something you come back to. I don't know what. I would have to play around with it. No ideas come to mind right now, but like, it had a lot of potential. It just wasn't quite there. I felt like Scarlet Violet had some of the best character writing of the series. Yes, I did appreciate how streamlined they made things, changing IVs and natures. Yes. So that's what I was going to get into kind of next. I do think, like I said, the open world, that dropped a lot of people. I found a guide who was like, do this gym first, then do this Titan Pokemon, because there was Titan Pokemons, by the way. They're just oversized Pokemon that you had to battle to unlock more movement abilities with your rideable Pokemon. So your rideable Pokemon could only like move in directions to begin with, but eventually you get like jumping, climbing, flying, etc. You defeat those Titan Pokemons to get more movement and unlock basically more of the map. But I had to find a guide. That did help, and that helped the story flow a lot better. That was, yes, yeah. So the Titan Pokemon were basically HMs, essentially. But I will say the storyline was actually really decent. I think it did fall flat in some areas, but they made you really fall in love with your fellow characters. Like Nimona, Arven, Penny, like I really got invested in them. Arven's story made me cry. Like, it just, him and his map Stobiff. Like, I've never had a Pokemon game do that. You see legendary Pokemon run on sandwiches, it's a critical to, yes. They do, they run on sandwiches. Oh, that's the other gimmick. Sword and Shield introduced Pokemon Curry, which I thought was kind of a fun mini game. Overall, kind of useless. It did kind of help in the sense of like, okay, it did technically heal your Pokemon if you were nowhere near a Pokemon Center. But that, it fell flat. Like, why were we doing the curry? I will say keeping the cooking mechanic, but then using it as a way to buff your Pokemon hunting was kind of a genius idea. I do think the actual sandwich making could definitely use some refinement because that minigame is a pain in the ass to deal with. There are some tips and tricks with it, but that sandwich minigame is a nightmare. It does. It breaks shiny though. That is another thing I have noticed is basically, since, I wouldn't say Sword and Shield, I would say starting with Arceus, shinies became broken. Like, they became really easy to hunt. And especially Scarlet Violet, because, like, now, you just name a Pokemon, what shiny, you want a shiny of it? Cool, I could get it for you in less than an hour. And I've done that. Like, I have, my shiny box is overrun. It's insane. The number of times I dropped an ingredient and realized I had completely misjudged where it should, exactly, and then it bounces off. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl has radar hunting if you're good at it, yeah. But Break Shiny, but like I said, storyline, we're moving in the right direction. I'm also glad that the poor release of this game got Game Freak to slow down. Because, like, the timing between, we got 2019 to 2022, I felt like, personally, once Scarlet Violet got announced, I was like, no, I'm still not done enjoying Sword and Shield, and I got it on release. Like, give me some time to savor it, man. And, like, yeah, they whipped that out really quick, but I'm glad it seems to be that they're slowing things down. And so far, between Arceus and this, the storylines seem to be improving. Because up to this point, they've been so-so. They're not awful, but they're just so-so. Like, I mean, Kanto was just the straight-up the Team Rocket. Sword and Shield is essentially Team Rocket again, but environmentalism, kind of. So yeah, just, it was so-so. Scarlet Violet was more interesting in the sense of, like, you have this crater that has some sort of, like, space-time, like, distortion thing happening. Scientists are the only ones allowed to go in there, and, like, your whole plotline revolves around that, the missing professor, essentially, and then you got those characters who are, like, experiencing this journey with you. So I thought it was pretty good. If you think about it, it's only 2 mainline games in the Switch lifespan. Exactly. Archie wanted to suplex the whale, and I respect it. Who the Marty Sims? Yeah. But the unfortunate thing about this mainline is they decided they're going to continue on with the DLC packaging. I'm not too thrilled with this, especially for mainline stories. The reason being is the fact that you're already splitting the game. And in order to get all Pokemon, you would need to buy both copies unless you want to get the online subscription in order to trade with other people. And I think if we're going the DLC route, we need to stop the splitting. Like, I don't know, it's becoming too much of a cash grab, and I'm not getting happy with it. You did see the DLC before the game release, and yes. Hold on. Yes. What the actual frick? Like, no. You can't announce the DLC, like, the game hasn't even freaking released yet. At that point, if you're talking about the DLC at game release, include it in the game. It's not a complete game then. Put the DLC in the game. Like, I understand post DLCs as a way to, like, pad out the story, but if it's already done, then it goes in the story. Like, I'm sorry. So annoying. Oh boy, the most cut content of all time. Exactly. Like, I just... Now, granted, I did like the DLC. This was also extremely well written. But it's just like, this makes sense in the sense, like, if we look at the release... Did I put the release on here? No. I did put it. DLC was a year later. Like, if it's a matter of, hey, we want to release this game, but we're not quite finished with the whole story... but we got the main one done, this is fine. And then doing, like, basically an epilogue, like, a year down the road because you need more time to finish it off. I don't know. I see that as fine. But if your DLC is done with the main line being done, then it should just be included. But also, this is a freaking spin-off. This isn't mainline. This shouldn't have a DLC. That's beside the point, though. I have very mixed feelings about the Pokemon having DLC. On the one hand, I no longer being punished for buying the game at launch when the mid-generation expanded edition comes out. But on the other hand, now Pokemon has Elder Skull Horse Armor DLC problem. Yeah. I don't like how expensive... Yes. We'll get into that too. I actually have a whole section on that just alone. The other thing is, they did bring back rating. It improved... I would say it improved, like, it didn't improve. Like, to be honest, I felt like this was worse. Okay, to be fair, this was slow. Everyone had to take their turn. It was one at a time, and you had to sit and watch everyone's, like, animation. But, like, you got to see stuff. It was one at a time. Things are happening, yada, yada, yada. They decided to quicken the raid and just kind of, like, let everyone attack at once. But the program literally could not, like, handle that. So, like, you see a bunch of animations, like, it's still broken. If I pull up, a terrestrial raid right now and do one, you'll see it's still so broken. Like, you just get these laggy moments, nothing happens, you click, like, oh, I click my move to attack, and then you wait 15 to 30 seconds later before, oh, wait, first I gotta register this Pokemon's attack, and then this one needs to attack. Now I get to attack, and sometimes that doesn't even happen. Sometimes you register it, and then it, like, freaks out, and then you have to do it again. So, I just, I felt like the raid system here was worse. It was way, way, way worse. Let's see. This game, yeah, it shouldn't have been released. The Scarlet Violet was not meant for the Switch one. Agreed. It was so difficult to figure out when your Pokemon's attack would go off in a Scarlet Violet, right? Right? Sometimes I'd see the same Pokemon go twice before mine would. Exactly. I will also get into, like, the gimmicky stuff a little bit later. Like, for example, Mega's Trustalization, Dynamax, etc. But yeah, was not a huge fan of it. Now, I do still like the raids as a way to, 1, gain materials, and 2, gain experience points, but yeah, and then on top of it, with at least specifically Scarlet Violet, they really punished you for not being online. Like, I feel like Sword and Shield, you could get away with most difficult raids soloing it, so long as you knew what you were doing. There are, like, 7-star raids in Scarlet Violet where even if you have online friends, they all need to be running the exact, like, specifically made build for that Pokemon in order to take down that Pokemon in any decent amount of time. And that's insane, because then if you're soloing it, good luck. That's not happening. Like, I see a couple of people solo it, but, like, they have to do, like, insane builds and have really good RNG. So while I still like raids overall, I hated them in Scarlet Violet. But then we get to ZA. Now, like I said, my focus today was more so on the 2 Legends games. So we got our ZA over here, and we've got our Arceus. Before I go into ZA, I want to explain why Arceus was so good. Okay, but Autistic Take, Dynamax was fucking horrible in competitive Pokemon. Terra is really fun in comparison and opens. Yes, and I do have a whole, like, section on that. Like, literally, hold on, let me zoom out. Where is it? Yep, I have a whole breakdown of the gimmicks. Actually, you know what? No, we'll sidebar right now, because, like, that's a fine thing to sidebar too. Let's see. I feel like this all goes back to how Pokemon just needs to slow down between mainline series. Raids are a good idea, but they, like so many other mechanics, need more time in the oven to figure out what worked and what exactly. Checking the syllabus for the stream. Wow. Hold on there, Possum. Opie's a great teacher. Thank you. Before you go sidebearing, it's time for a little stretchy break. All right, thank you. Hold on. I'm actually going to get up and stretch, so give me a second. There we go. Indeed, Opie is a great teacher. I'm glad. There we go. All right. Actually, you know what? Where did my water go? Did I not even bring my water out?
Oh, I might have poured it and then...
Lore stole my water bottle. How dare he? A teacher always needs her water bottle. I know I always did. I could not function without one. I always do remember the first, 2 weeks back of school, I would lose my voice, so quickly. And then it would take a while for, my vocal cords to reacclimate to talking all the time. Because I am a quiet person. We're already at the 1 hour. Oh, gosh. And I'm not even... The power of auto dumping. Seriously though, and I'm not I don't even feel like we're even at the halfway point. Hell yeah. Teacher Opie, do you accept Monster Energy instead of water? It's the only thing I have. I do not, unfortunately. Dude, Monster Energy would kill me. I'm so sensitive to.
It would cure you.
It would cure me.
Your tea.
Oh, I do have tea. I alas am very sensitive to caffeine, so. I usually stick to T's only, and that's usually more than enough for me. But, so all games, I think, when did Megas, the JoJo, you might remember this better. Andrew trying to kill Opie. This is so sad. Yeah, he is. He's trying to dehydrate me. You might know this better, Jojo, because I did not play the games that introduced it. I don't remember when Megas were introduced. I think that was XY. Yeah. Jojo, Megas, when were they introduced? XY. Okay, good. I'm not the only one. I think it was XY. Teas are so good. Do you like milk tea? I do, but unfortunately I'm very lactose intolerant, and because I drink really, really slow, the lactate pills don't work if you drink really, really slow. So unfortunately, as tasty as it is, I don't drink it very often, unless like I get like oat milk in it, which is not awful, but I'm definitely not a huge fan of. Until the 3DS, we had no fight gimmicks. Exactly, kind of. I thought Mega Evolutions was okay. I mean, obviously, you got these cool, like, the Pokemon get an additional, like, evolutionary design. It is not permanent. You have to use these lovely little stones you have to collect, and you give it to them, and it's, like, a one-time in battle that they get to Mega Evolve and have, like, basically altered stats. Yeah, but none that relevant. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I am too. Thankfully, most places at least offer soy, even if it's not my favorite alt milk. Yeah. So Megas I thought were interesting. Personally, as someone who likes to think about Pokemon as a real life experience, I kind of did not like it in the sense of like, oh cool, we're now giving Pokemon steroids. Like, I can't imagine this being good for the Pokemon. But overall, I still like the Mega idea. I like the Mega mechanic. I do like the newer designs. It's really cool. I do question the ethics of it though. But overall, not bad. And one thing I am glad to see in Legends ZA is that they're just reusing this. And when they introduced this mechanic, I was like, overall, with the Pokemon series, I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. So are you going to continue with it? Not really. They kind of just dropped the ball after a while. No, you're fine, Jojo. Next in Alola, so Sun and Moon, we get Z moves. This one, once again, also like, basically it's a fancy move. You have to have a special stone, see special bracelet. You do cutesy little moves, you sync up with your Pokemon, and then they get to do like a superpower move. I like that. That's a cute idea. It's like a one-time thing. You get to do it with only certain Pokemon with certain special moves. Like, not too bad of a gimmick. And so like, so far between these two things, it's just like, okay, yeah, we're fine here. I don't mind this. Let's see. The only thing Pokemon like more than friendship is winning is that they will do drugs about it, yeah. Megas were so much fun, though. The competitive in XY was great. I can imagine. Pokemon love drugs, confirmed. Wow. Z moves are ugly. I do agree. I think they probably could have done a little bit of a better job in some of those animations. Now, granted, I did not play Sun and Moon, so I can't officially say anything about it. I just know vague information about it. And just know how certain mechanics generally work. But overall, like, as a mechanic, was it really needed? I don't feel like it. I feel like, okay, if you were going to do a battle gimmick, just stick with more of the Mega Evolution stuff and just get creative with that. The Z moves, overall, not too bad. I just think it was a meh mechanic. Mega Evolution stuck around for like 3 generations, and now they're remembered as a gimmick. Yeah. Z moves I liked, but I didn't like the gigantic. Okay, that's where we're getting. When I heard about the Gigantamax thing, at this point I'm like, okay, I understand that there is a competitive scene in Pokemon. How the fuck are we, like, managing all this? Like, this is too much. This is a one-time thing. This is a one-time in a battle thing. This is a one-time battle thing. And, like, I did see, and we'll talk about it later, I think it's Pokemon Champions, that there's, like, this new special bracelet that allows for all of these mechanics to happen. Now, Dynamax, as a battle mechanic, it's just so-so to me. Visually and story-wise, it's fun. It's big Pokemon, and sometimes the big Pokemon had like a different design. I think that was kind of fun and cute. The other thing I did like about it is it did play on a Pokemon's natural ability, which, in case you didn't know, Pokemon in the wild can randomly choose to shrink themselves to about the size of like a pea. That's how they fit in the Pokeball. The Pokeball isn't shrinking them. They themselves are shrinking. That's how they quote unquote run away or disappear in battles, is that they just shrink and poof away. And that is canon, by the way. Pokemon can grow and shrink at will, which is, yeah, all of them, which is bizarre. Now, what makes the Sword and Shield or Galar region special is that the growth mechanic kind of goes crazy. They have like this kind of ley line magic theory where like there's these Dynamax lines under the earth and like they're slipping out through the cracks, which is why Pokemon can Dynamax and Gigantamax in this realm. So, but all of them, yeah. Let's see. Dynamax is CBT, but every match is in the same competitive. I like it as an idea, right? Yeah, they can. All right, bro, whatever shrinks about. Exactly. They can. Apparently that's canon. I did not like that. I don't know why, but when I found that out, that they could just grow and shrink at will, that bothered me. Puts an onyx in my mouth. I mean, you could. They can shrink that small. So I liked the idea that at least it felt more organic. Realistically, battle-wise, it was kind of so-so. And like I said, once I saw the Dynamax, I'm like, okay, are we just going to do a gimmick now every single game? And then if we're doing a gimmick every single game, how the heck are you balancing all this out? And how is this working in tournaments? Like, it's just insane. It's such a random thing. Exactly. Minimize is just a Pokemon weaponizing their shrinking. Exactly. So Dynamax, whatever. Terrestrialization. This one just like, okay, this seems natural, right? We got Pokemon, evolution already exists. The fact that they could go a step further with drugs essentially makes sense in the world. Z moves, okay, we know stones can power and evolutionize Pokemon, so using like a stone to do this special move and your bond with them still makes sense, right? Here we're going here. Gigantamax, we're playing off of the idea that Pokemon can grow and shrink at will, and then of course, because it's Galar, we have the leaking ley lines essentially that allows them to get super big. Fine, like, this is all making sense. Let's see, it's easy, we're just killing everything else. Yeah, okay, Terra is better for competitive. Okay, I will agree. So Terra, unfortunately, I don't feel like makes sense in the Pokemon world. Like, it kind of does. We do have Paldea. We have this crater that has these strange crystals in it that don't exist anywhere else in the Pokemon world. Like, so far, everything here exists anywhere else. Like, except, like, Galar, once again, has, like, the special exemption because they have a little extra power. But supposedly, with the way that they're talking about it with those ley lines, is, like, Galar's not the only place that Pokemon can guide Dynamax. There may be some other spots where they can as well, just Galar is most known for it. We have Magic Turtle that gives us powers in this region. Essentially, yes. There's like a turtle with crystals that lives in the bottom of the crater that's causing space-time distortions and stuff like that. And it gives your Pokemon powers. You need a special orb to activate those crystal powers. Now, the mechanic is fascinating. I do like that. Essentially, and this is why I chose this picture in particular, Jigglypuff is a normal type Pokemon. That's it. Normal typing only. And basically, as a normal type, when it uses a normal move, it's, you know, it's effective. That's what it is. But with terrestrialization, they get a new typing. So as you can see here, we have a little crystal on the top of their head, and that is a water crystal. So now this Jigglypuff is not just normal type, it is normal water type. And that actually does make competitive battling interesting. There's a lot of gimmicky stuff you could do with it. I find it to be a lot of fun. Now, I do feel like the Stella Terrestrialization, which is basically, it gives them all typings, I feel like that kind of cheapened it out because now everyone's just doing, why bother with one typing when you could just have all of them? I do feel like that cheapened it out a little bit, even though I still think it's kind of fun as a mechanic. We have and the other downside to it is, as much as I love crystals, this design was just, the design for these things was not well thought out. I think they could have done a little bit better. There might have been something that they could have done to make this at least a little bit better and more visually appealing. at least from what I'm seeing so far, this might be the last of the gimmicks. I am hoping, because I'm just like, I just don't understand how we're fitting all these gimmicks in, and this one even feels like less meshed with the Pokemon world. I'd be curious, which is why when I heard about Legends EA just bringing back Megas, like, I was happy about that, one, because that is a very like fan-friendly mechanic, but two, like, okay, now we're not getting crazy with things, which I was kind of happy about. But yes, those gimmicks. But back to it. Let me see where what else do we have to cover? Hold on. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. You know, we'll take a small sidebar here. This one would be a short one. So obviously we had our mainline series. We have Sword and Shield, we have Scarlet Violet, and then Legends Arceus and Legends EAs were basically they're spin-offs. Same thing with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Like, Pokemon has been known lately to do spin-off games, and they're not all that bad. I have, like, a whole bunch of them here to show off. Like, for example, the spin-off games have been around forever. We have Pokemon Snap. The original one was great. The new released one was also good. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is still an extremely solid series. It's a lot more story-based and story-focused. You play as a Pokemon. Pokemon Rumble Blast, Pokemon Rangers. We also have they started branching into the mobile games, Pokemon Cafe Remix, which I will say is a kind of fun puzzle game. I have dipped my toes into that one. And then Pokemon Go. I will say I was obsessed with this when it released, and I have stopped playing probably a couple of years ago. But I was really obsessed with it, and it was really good. They're really good at their spin-off series, and I am pretty excited about the Pokopio one, where it's basically like Minecraft Animal Crossing Pokemon game. So we already have it established that Pokemon does do a solid side series. I have heard of some other Pokemon games where they've kind of fallen flat, but for the most part, all their like spin-offs are pretty solid, which is why I was excited about Legends Arceus and Legends ZA. Yes, Pokopia! I know, I can't wait. Mystery Dungeon, Conquest, Pokemon Go, Ranger, yeah. Oh yeah. So we have a solid foundation of spin-off games. Right? Is that where my notes were taking me? Yeah, because Arceus and Legends EA fall under that. But let's go ahead. Now I am going to get ready to boot up here in a second. I am going to boot up my Switch because that's going to... I felt like with Legends Arceus, obviously I have like the pictures here and stuff like that, but I felt like it would be easier to kind of like show off. And plus I have that one ready to go. The world would heal if we only got a new Pokemon Pinball. You know what, Bahamut? After seeing what the Switch 2, like some of the newer gimmicky things that it can do, I actually wouldn't be surprised if one is coming. Just because like those gimmicky things that you could do with the Joy-Cons now seems to set up for that game so well. So I wouldn't be surprised like if that happens soon. But to give a little history about Pokemon Arceus, because like I said, we kind of went through all the other titles. Pokemon Arceus was another spin-off title. It is basically an isekai, or isekai, I don't know. I flip between the two pronunciations all the time. But essentially, Arceus, who is the god or Jesus of Pokemon, takes our character from the modern day and chucks them into the past, where Pokemon and humans don't interact very well. They are still seen as very wild and dangerous creatures, and like only certain people are allowed to interact with them or even have Pokemon as a Pokemon. And so you're sent in the past to basically kind of help with two things. One, there's like a mini plot line going on between the different region areas. There's like two tribes. One tribe that's focused on space, one time is focused on time. And they're kind of like battling it out, having issues, butting heads, and you're kind of there to help make the peace. You're also there to help get people comfortable with Pokemon, to be like, oh no, Pokemon and us, they're not scary monsters. He is God and Jesus. I can't explain this without too much. Exactly. But yeah, you're sent back in time to do that and to also help with the first, like essentially the first ever Pokedex. So I'm going to get this booted up. Let's see. Because I want to show you like some of the gameplay in it. Because apart from, like, up to this point, now remember, we haven't had Scarlet Violet yet. We just had, what is it? Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield had a somewhat open world concept. But I would say Arceus was almost like the first step into almost fully open world. So let me switch over. Let's go here. Do I still have Genki Arcade? Are you like... Oh, I have that set to 100. It remembers when I was playing 101 Pony Pets. Okay, beautiful. There it is. Let's go ahead and turn this off. We'll move this over. There we go. Close enough. All right. Let's get Arceus set up. Oh, are we not going to load controllers? Oh boy. I love technical difficulties first thing in the morning. Well, I guess it's not morning now. We're way into the afternoon and evening. All right, let's try this. Are we going to let us in? No? All right, let's try this. That's on. That's on. That's on. Are we good? Beautiful. All right, there we go. Oh boy, indeed. There we go. Let's bring it back up on screen. Oh, I think it's going to cut off. There we go. But yeah, Legends Arceus, it was a spin-off game, and it was focusing more on a story. And it was a very, I would say it was a pretty well-developed story overall. Definitely better than Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield felt like it was following its formula. Like, oh, we have a big bad organization with Team Rocket-like people, and you're gonna go around and beat them up, and then we're gonna stop the big baddie from doing his big baddie thing. And I mean, yeah, but we get to Legends Arceus, and as you could see here, pretty open world. As you could see, we're back in time. The other thing that kind of excited me, and I wish this got a little bit more, is we do have our own house. Benny attacking me at the end actually made me sad. Yeah. My only hope was like, okay, once we had this house, we did kind of get to decorate like that little Clefairy doll, the Rotom fan, the Rotom like refrigerators and stuff like that. Like those did get to be added in later. But boy, was I hoping for like more customization. Wish you could decorate. Yes. The other thing this game, I will say, oh, that was another point that I forgot to make. Sword and Shield actually did pretty good with customization in the sense of like you got to customize your hair, your outfit, your look. Like they branched into that very well. Arceus did the same thing with being able to style up your character in any way that you wanted. It was great. I will say Scarlet Violet screwed that up hard. I get that they were trying to keep it like school themed in the sense of like, oh, you have this uniform, but you could kind of style around the uniform. But ultimately, I think that was poor. I think there should have been something like in Arceus here, which is the sash. As you can see, I'm wearing like this little like tan sash thing. That stays on your character no matter almost, or I guess it's not in every outfit, but it's in most outfits. I feel like this for the school, it should have been like, there would have been like a badge that had to stay on. Like, probably like the school crest, and then you could just wear whatever you want as long as the quad. Yeah, those uniforms were ugly. I do feel like I came up with a pretty good combo, but yeah, it was bad. Scarlet Violet is the devil and everything evil comes from it. Wow. The gameplay in this is also different. Yeah, a badge would have been perfect for Scarlet Violet. Exactly, because you wanted, like, I get that they wanted the uniform to identify you were from the school, but yeah, I don't know. But with Legends Arceus, obviously there is a story. We do still have kind of like a map here. They did introduce mass outbreaks. Now, mass outbreaks in like large amounts of Pokemon have been in the mainline series for a while now, and they've been kind of leaning into that mechanic a lot more. It's just been presented differently in various games. But as you can see here, basically you travel to an area. Now, it's not fully open world in the sense of like I didn't walk through that gate and just was already in that area. As you can see, we are transitioning, But what a lot of people likened this to at the time was a little bit of Monster Hunter and a little bit of Legends of Zelda, because you have this camp here. The tent does allow you to advance time, because time is important in this game in the sense of only certain Pokemon will come out at certain times. You do have the ability to craft. Now, that is kind of new in Pokemon. Basically because, you know, we're back in time, Pokeballs had to be handmade. So you had to make your own Pokeballs, which I thought was clever. Same thing with healing items. You had to craft the healing items. Bozarel. Man, this game seems awesome. I can't believe you don't like it. I'm raging. No, I love Arceus. This one I love a lot. But as you could see, definitely more open world in the sense of like, yeah, you just kind of go. Pokemon are out in the open. There are passive Pokemon and aggro Pokemon. And as you can see here, we have our lovely Bidoof greeting us. There are ways to deal with this Pokemon. I can just go up to it. If I wanted to battle it, let me switch over here. I could pull out one of my Pokemon, aim, and just hit it with a Pokeball. And battle has started, so we could have a traditional Pokemon battle. This is another thing that became really big. Arceus was the first to do it, was just the dynamic battling. I could run around the battlefield. I am not stuck on the side of the screen having like a pre-made scene happen, which was pretty cool. I'm gonna be real Opie. I glitched myself infinite money and bought everything. Sorry. Wow. You could body block for your... You couldn't do that here. You couldn't body block, but what you could do is if things got intense or if you were about to faint, you could like literally just leave. As you can see, watch this. Give it a second. It's going to take a while. There we go. You could just leave battle. You could just up and leave. If things are going south, you could just get out of there. I like Sammy in the Celebi movie making wind up Pokemon from apricorns. Yeah. You'll get hit by your opponent's Pokemon attack. Yes, that is another thing. You do physically take damage in this game, and you could take enough damage to faint yourself. In Legends Arceus, you have craftable items. You have a pack. Let me see. Can I open up my pack? Where is my pack? You have a pack of items. When you faint, the stuff you have collected will disappear. You will lose items. Oh, thank you, thank you. Actually, I don't know if I set up Cone of Shame for this, Opie, so give me a second. Actually, where is my cone? Huh. The item lover can't happen to me. All right, hold on. I'm going to put you guys on a Be Right Back screen. I need to go grab the cone for the Cone of Shame. Plus, this is a good time for me to stretch and break before we get into the nitty gritty of Arceus. So I will be back. I'm back. That was quick. Let me turn the cone on. Oh, I'm going to have to adjust it. Give me a second. How do we want to do this? Like that, maybe? There we go. It covers my mouth, but I mean, you get the picture. Oh, nope, that's not what I want. I want to do that. We'll put a timer on. Although if you want to do a cone noodle, we'll do the hardest one, but you have to do it with me. If you have all the life ones in your bag, you're pretty much immortal. True. What's the music from the Be Right Back screen? I have it written somewhere. I could check. Give me 1 second. Come on, load up. There we go. Let me go into my source files. I'll have it there because I named it the name it's from. Oh boy. That was for Christmas. That's the raid sound. Kazoo. Wait, where's my music? Is it in the scenes in transit? Oh, it's in the scenes in transition. No, happy-go-lucky. That's the first. Where is... I don't know. I thought I had it easy accessible. I'll let you know. I wanted to add it to my playlist since the first time I caught the stream, but I can't. Hold on. I'll throw us on. Be right back. Give me a second. There we go. Because unfortunately with OBS, I can't go to a different scene without like making you guys go. But it's called Super Spiffy. And who is, I know I have like the, where's my channel? I have the artist listed in my about page. It's Super Spiffy by Thessalian Studios. So if you go into the credit section, I actually have it linked up so it'll take you there, but it's called Super Spiffy. Got it. Yeah. Such a jam. I love that one. But now that we're back, we got Legends Arceus. So like I said, we got crafting. Yes, the charm stack. So if you faint, you will lose items. So you do have to pay attention because Pokemon will damage you. You could also take fall damage. Brushies, thank you for the brushies. Another thing you could do with the Pokemon is... Oh, posture chest, thank you. You can, as you can see here, I have a ball of mud. You know, I'll do that last. Let's start with something nice. There are food items like mushrooms, but you could also make these little rice cake things. And if you throw them, let me go like this. We'll get them nice and close like that. It attracts the Pokemon. Let's see, will he take it? Am I too close? Oh, he might not like that flavor. Let's do the honey cake one. Do you like honey? Yeah, he likes the honey one. So you can lure Pokemon that way. As a way either to distract them from you or to bring them closer. Let's see, you can do that. And then, of course, if you're really having a tough one with it, okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Bidoof, you could throw mud at them, and it kind of like dizzies them. It can allow you to get away, but it also gives you an advantage if you attack them. You start with basically a surprise round. So Pokemon encounters and battling in the wild are different. The other thing is you do not have to battle the Pokemon to catch it. You could still catch doing a battle, but all you have to do now is look for the Pokemon, take aim with a Pokeball, and throw. Now, granted, they won't always stick on the same one, which is why you either upgrade to a higher level Pokeball, or you throw multiple times, or you get them distracted. There's also Pokemon that you have to feed for them to give you Pokedex goals. Exactly. So apart from the normal, like, Pokemon stuff, we do have gathering items. I think I saw one back here. Yeah, we have our medicinal leaks, so you just go and you grab stuff. Other medicinal items, let me switch to a Pokemon, or gathering, crafting items. As you can see, I have a tree with berries. To get the berries, oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. You throw your Pokemon, they knock the berries down for you, and you get them. So we've got a crafting mechanic to make our Pokeballs, our healing potions. I know there's also like strength boosting items, so there's a lot of crafting involved. We have our catching, our battling mechanics. We have our story mechanics. You can interact with people. There are battles that you're going to have with other people. Where is actually? I'm trying to remember. I'm going to hop on. You also have Pokemon that you could ride and fly on. Now, those are the noble Pokemon. It is part of the story that there are 5 noble Pokemon that you need to basically rescue from a frenzied state. That's one of the storylines in it, and I like the frenzy battle mechanic because you're not really battling the Pokemon so much as like dodging and dancing with it. I'm trying to see if I could find, I'm trying to locate a specific Pokemon, so let's see. So yes, we have our Pokemon. As you can see, we have the Y-Deer for running. We have our bravery for flying. Oh, look, and perfect example. Because we've been isekai and there's space-time things happening, there's this lovely thing called a space-time distortion, which basically, let's see, do I remember my mechanics for going down? I do. If you hop in here when it starts to go off, Pokemon from the mainline games that you cannot get in the world otherwise will show up here. The only other downside is most of them are going to be aggro and try to kill you. So you have to be very careful. The other types of Pokemon here, which is where I was getting to, we'll come back to the space-time distortion in a little bit, because they should be out here. There he is. We have Alpha Pokemon. Now, they are bigger and more ferocious. Otherwise, they basically operate like standard Pokemon. So the alpha mechanic compared to like, say, Megas or Zs, like, I feel like this was an easy one to implement and an easy one to backtrack if needed. Red Eyes, take warning. Exactly. Yeah, if I get too close, he will get mad. Actually, you know what? We'll find out. Let's see how mad he gets. Yeah, first you get knocked with a little bit of damage. I forget. Yeah, and he will attack with actual moves if you are not careful. So very dynamic, very engaging world. Fat ass, I love him. Exactly. We have our noble Pokemon. We have our Widear for running around. We have our Bravery. We have our Sneasler, which I think this is just the funniest thing. I love the eyes in the back of the bag. She is for climbing up cliff sides. So normally you wouldn't necessarily be able to get up this side. You need her to get up the cliff. And of course we have the Ursaluna. He is actually for sniffing out items. There are some hidden items that he will dig for. He's got like this little glowy thing in front of him. It will alert you to other items. So this game, let's see, me sending out my massive alpha low bunny, rise and kill that guy. Yes, she's a cheerleader pop star. Exactly. So the alphas are a fun mechanic. I love how engaging it is. The story is fantastic. The cinematics are fantastic. So actually, and we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. I will say, this is when shinies did become a little bit busted. I don't know if they were necessarily busted in the sense of like, oh, like, I feel like Scarlet Violet actually busted them. Arceus, I feel like just made it realize, like, the randomization for shinies is the same. Like, it's the same ratio. Like, if you're looking at the numbers of how often a shiny will spawn from previous games to this one, they are the same. The only difference is because the Pokemon are out and about and are not hidden, you will notice them more. And there's actually like a little like animation and sound that plays. Oh geez, he's gonna get me. A little animation and sound that plays when you encounter a shiny. So it made it a little bit easier for us to find them, but I don't feel like it quite broke it yet. Oh yeah, and here we go. Space-time distortion is happening. As you can see, we've got like, I don't know, most of these guys are in this one already. You do get tougher Pokemon. As you can see, they're all trying to kill me. Let me see. And there's also like rare items that drop here. Most of them money items, some of them crafting items that are necessary. So a lot of like interesting gameplays. These space-time distortions only happen ever so often, and they don't happen all the time. In other regions, you might be having a mass outbreak in which it's just a lot of the same Pokemon. But the purpose of this game, let me see, can I pull it up? Is to deal with this Pokedex. So instead of it being battle focused on like mainstream games, and I will get into about the battle focus in a little bit, it was focused more on Pokedex and like, it was more focused on the story and like the other side of Pokemon, which is just observing them in their environment, looking at their behaviors and capturing and collecting them. In the Pokedex here, let me pull up, we'll use Obama Snow. As you can see, when you encounter a Pokemon, they'll show up. When you finally catch one, a Pokeball will appear next to its name. But in the Pokedex, because you're trying to fill out and help these people understand that Pokemon are okay, you're trying to look at their behaviors. And so they have like these mini tasks around each Pokemon that you need to fulfill. Oh, and there's my alert for, there we go, Kona shape off. There we go. As you can see, we have a list of, oh, jeez, Bose. Okay, fine. Kona Shane back on. Absolutely not. Wow. Cone back on. There we go. But yeah, the Pokedex, and that made it fun. Like, apart from just having to catch the Pokemon, you had to see them doing stuff. Like, you had, for Abomasnow, you needed to see it use Blizzard, Woodhammer, a strong style move. You had to collect a certain amount of them. You needed to defeat a certain amount of them. Posture check, thank you. So it was a lot more engaging as a way to focus on the non-battling side of Pokemon. And like I said, the story of this game, I don't want to get into it too much because it really is fascinating. If you haven't played it, please do, because it is great. I love the storyline in this game. But yeah, as you can see, you just run around. Oh, and backtracking. If you faint and you lose your items, people can retrieve them for you. As you can see, I just found a satchel that sent the items back to the person. You usually do need to be connected for online, but it does, I think, even if you're offline, you could still do that satchel collecting to a certain extent. I don't think it does it to actual people, but if you're online, it does it for actual people. And you will get items back as well. Which is another thing I like about Arceus. Arceus does not require any online engagement at all. Like, you could play this game completely offline. Pokemon Sword and Shield, like, you technically can, but boy, do those raids get hard if you don't have online connection. Plus, you cannot complete the Pokedex without online connection. This game, you actually can complete the Pokedex without needing to trade or have any sort of online connection, which is another reason why this game is so phenomenal. All right. So, moving on from that, I want to show, we're going to go into my album here. I got some, like, great clips of, like, why Pokemon Arceus is amazing. We're going to filter by that. Yeah, you can see Pokemon Violet. I have 171 screenshots for a reason. New model is Fire Violet. Thank you. I whipped it up literally yesterday. I've been meaning to do this, though, for a while, because I figured I'm a big Pokemon nerd. I'm going to have Pokemon streams, so it's nice to have, like, a Pokemon model for it. There we go. Legends Arceus. So, like I said, storyline is amazing. Also, the cinematography in this game is fantastic. Like, literally, I'm just going to show you the scene. It's not like a super spoiler. No. All right, spoiler. If you plan on playing this game, do not look right now. Turn away. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Look away, turn off the volume. I'm going to show a spoiler. But, like, I'm showing it because, like, the cinematography is fantastic. All right, we're playing. So this is towards the end of the storyline. So I'm just going to let it play through. I don't know, actually, is it giving any sound? It is not giving any sound. Volume is all the way up, though. My apologies, you're not going to get any sound on it, but it has music. But, like, this scene, the angle, the composition, like, absolutely insane. This is Pokemon. Like, holy shit. Yes, I can say no, I can't. Cinematography, but I can't say isekai or isekai, yeah. But, like, it's crazy good. And then, of course, just, like, there were so many cute moments. I loved it. I took so many screenshots. The fact that you could, like, interact with the Pokemon. This guy was sleeping. I walked right up to him. I practically could pet him. There was just so many good things. And at the end, you literally, once again, spoilers, you literally fight God. You fight God. So, isekai, okay. I can't see Giratina anymore without thinking of the XY meme where it's like, holy shit, are those cupcakes? Cupcakes! Yeah. I did switch back to my Midwestern outfit. Had to have the Ugg boots with the shorts on, man. But yeah, you literally fight God at the end. And it's not just a Pokemon battle. Like, play the game. Play the game. It is more intense. It is... I finished this game and I just sat and stared at the ceiling for like a solid half hour, just like amazed and just enjoying it. The Midwestern chic is strong. It was just This game was just so good. And there was like silly moments and funny moments. Like this was one of my favorites. I don't know if this was scripted or not, or if this just happened on my playthrough. But yeah, the Spheal just rolls on screen. And it's just there while I'm having this moment with one of the main characters. And he just looks, yeah, he's just chilling there and then rolls off. I don't know if that was scripted or not, but like, it was just, it's so good. I loved Legends Arceus. It was such an interesting concept to go back in time to see the development of like a Pokedex, to see the development of how Pokeballs work. Because actually, they do explain it. That's the nice thing about Legends Arceus. You know what? Why not? We'll let that play. What a goofy little guy. Yeah, I love me my Spheals. But like that's, I love this game. I loved it so much. It was so good. 69 420, yeah. Name a cutscene that couldn't be improved with the addition of Spheal rolling in the flame. That's right, you can't. Exactly. But yeah, this game was just so good. So when I heard, now before our recent announcements, when I heard they were making another Legends game, I was ecstatic because this game was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. So let me go ahead. We're going to exit out of here. We're going to go back to the whiteboard. There we go. And just, yeah, because like even like, yeah, here are the nobles, the 5 main noble characters that you have to like battle. It's not a traditional Pokemon battle. Like you are like moving around and maneuvering. You're like, I mean, essentially you are throwing stuff at them, but like, it was just, I can't even get enough of this game. It was so good. A solid spin-off game. It was refreshing because it wasn't necessarily battle focused. It still had solid battling in it, but it was just, okay. But now. I'm switching to mad mode. Hold on. This. Legends ZA. Yeah, I'm mad. I was rather hopeful for it. Not gonna lie. The first thing that I hear about it is that it's set in the future. That was strike one. I'm not a fan of futuristic games. Or let me be specific. Cyberpunk games, futuristic games like that, they're fine because they are standalone. I don't like futuristic games that already have a storyline in place and are trying to guess the future. I feel like that falls short every time, and then it looks really cringy when, okay, in real time we get to that future and it's nothing like that. And so I'm not a fan, like if there's already an established timeline that we're trying to jump ahead to the future. Is it actually, that's I'm still trying to find out. Put it this way, when it was initially announced, especially with the weird holographic, like go ahead and look at like the original like release images of Pokemon ZA. There's all this weird like holographic-y kind of stuff going on, which makes me still think there's going to be some sort of weird future-y component. Now, if it's just modern day, and it's just, this is just post, what is it, XY or whatever, fine. That's fine. I'm fine with that if it's more just like, oh, it's future ? In the sense that it's modern day. Do you think certain Pokemon walk in front of cars? Probably. Random thought. Probably. Not too different. I could see a Squovit just sitting in the middle of the road staring down your headlights. Not a fan of future. And I do actually have a mini segment on that in Pokemon. Now, Pokemon has dabbled in future things. And to be fair, what they've dabbled with so far is not that bad. And actually, I'm going to switch to normal face for this. In Sun and Moon, we did have these wormhole things we were dealing with. Now, remember, I haven't played this game, so correct me if I do get things wrong. What's the hit by a car ghost Pokemon? Wow. That would be great. It would be a possum. It'd be a roadkill possum ghost Pokemon. I have thought about that. Like a possum-based Pokemon, and its gimmick is it drops down to 0 health. It faints. But when it returns to your party, it restores by 1 hit point, so it's not fully fainted. I think that'd be really cool. I thought of that as like a cool battle gimmick. Like, okay, it gets knocked out in your party, it returns to its Pokeball, but it's not at 0 health, it's at 1 health. I thought that would be cool. Right? Because then it plays on the playing dead. Okay, anyways. Pokemon Great Slate and Pokemon... There is, what is it, Bill Francois or whatever his name is, or her name is? All right. Cone of Shame. There we go. Don't worry, I'm going to take the visual Cone of Shame off. I'll leave the actual Cone of Shame on. I'll leave the actual Cone of Shame on for you. We deserve this. Yes. If you are interested, Bill Francois is an artist, and I've been following them for a while because they've done really cute Pokemon art, and they are developing like a fake Pokemon Great Lakes one, and so far the Pokemon they've come... I'm not a huge fan of fake Pokemon. Theirs have been spot on in the sense of like they really understand what makes a Pokemon. So I would definitely check them out because like I've liked a lot of their Great Lakes ones that they've done so far. Maybe I should throw the possum one their way. Anyways, back to future stuff. In the Sun and Moon or Alola region, we did have a little bit of future stuff in the sense that there was these wormholes that were happening and these Ultra Beasts came in. Basically, overcharged Pokemon kind of from an alternate universe future-y thing. And to deal with them, we had basically the Ultra, I forget what they're called, the Ultra Recon Force, Ultra Space Force, I don't know. Basically, there were people from the future coming to deal with these guys. Because they're not supposed to be there. I think that's fine. That's a great way to tie in future things without having to go full future. And to be fair, like this almost isn't future. This is more like alternate universe-y-ish. So I liked that. Same thing with Scarlet Violet. The future E parts, now this is only if you played Violet. With Scarlet, they go actually in the past. But with Violet, we do get Pokemon from the future, which are kind of like all robotic-like, and they originate from that crater in the center, because that's like the whole main frame, like the main center of the story. So Pokemon has already dealt with future-y stuff pretty decently. I am concerned, like I said, if this is just modern day, I won't be too upset. I am very upset that they didn't stick with the historical theme, because I really, really like the historical theme. His name is not Plastic Bundle. No, I think these are, the names here are the wrong ones. I don't know why these names are the way they are. This was just the cleanest photo I had of all of them that I could find. But that's not their correct names. Although I do like Plastic Bundle, that's kind of funny. I do think I am disappointed that Legends is not going to be another historical game. I think, to be fair, okay, I'm gonna be biased here because I am a Johto nerd. I loved Gold and Crystal; those were my first Pokemon, so I'm obsessed with Johto. A period piece Johto Legends, like Legends Ho-Oh or Legends Lugia, would be like, oh, so good. It'd be so good. But alas, that is not what we're getting. It's the first time we're in a city proper, though. I don't know, Galar was kind of city proper-y. There was actually 2 major cities. 3, I think, actually. But yeah, no, this one is contained to city and city only. And that actually is another downside, I think, to it. Is just because, yeah, I live in a city and, like, Pokemon, like, I don't know, Pokemon ties to too much wildness to me. Like, yes, there can be Pokemon in the city, but, like, I don't think of Pokemon when I think of city. So the fact that we're restricted to a city is kind of like, eh. I'm also disappointed that we also seem to be getting, like, these roped off regions. This feels like we're going back to Sword and Shield, and I don't like that. Arceus was fine because it was like, oh, we have these mapped regions, but the Pokemon are wild there. This is assuming, oh, we're only seeing wild Pokemon in these specific spots in the city. And I get why they would do that, because I'm assuming, like, oh yeah, in a real life city, you would probably want to make sure there's certain areas Pokemon don't get into. But I just feel like this limits that open world experience. Mega Evolving Rhydon on top of your roof, yeah. Unless Pokemon eat hamburgers, you probably shouldn't find them in the city. Exactly. Or, I mean, if you're going back to, like, the OG games, like, the reason why you would see them in the city is because they're working Pokemon, like the Voltorbs at the electric factories and stuff like that. Like, there's just, yeah, unless it's like your partner Pokemon or some like the most I could see in a city is like, oh yeah, there's Caterpies and Ratatats running around and like some Pidgeys and whatnot, but that's the most you're ever gonna see in a city. It's also 100% to conserve resources. Yeah, sending my Mimikyu to go to work at FedEx. Wow. So yeah, disappointed that it's set in a potential future or modern day. I will be less upset if it's modern day overall. We do seem, okay, plus sides to it. It seems we get sort of that interactive mechanic back like we did in Legends Arceus, so I do like that. They just need a reason to be there, not just, hey, you're here and here are someone's little, of the little guys, exactly. But I am glad to see, okay, we kind of get like our dynamic capturing back. I'm assuming it's going to be like Arceus in the sense of like, yeah, if they're a low level, like a Fletchling, like you could just toss a Pokeball at it, but like a higher level Pokemon, you might need to do a little bit more, either battle it or work with it. So that's a little bit hopeful. I also see dynamic battling. So once again, being able to move your camera around. We have seen footage of like being able to dodge out of moves, being able to block moves and things like that. So that seems interesting. Happy with that. That's not a problem. Customization. We are getting to change our outfits and looks entirely. So kind of hopeful. The battle does still look a little iffy to me. It's definitely not horrible, but it definitely doesn't look great to me. My only concern about with the dynamic thing of like, oh, being able to run away from moves is I'm slow. I like the ability to take time to decide what move I want to use, but if moves are happening rapid fire and there's no way to pause in between moves because you're able to move around, like that's gonna stress me out. And I feel like that punishes the player a little bit. But I don't know. Like I said, it's not fully released yet. I can't say. But what I've seen so far has not been hopeful. Now, the main issue I have with this, and I want to say before I get into this part, is obviously Pokemon and battling go hand in hand. I thought it was an odd choice for them to have both Totodile and Chikorita. Like, I love Chikorita, but why two Johto? Yeah. And I'm very smart. My brain is very big, so sorry for you. Wow. Ugh. But like I said, I want to preface this that I understand Pokemon and battling go hand in hand. And I get that. And I'm not saying I don't want a Pokemon game with no battling in it. I think Arceus did an excellent job of focusing on a Pokemon game where battling was not the focus. The reason why I'm upset battling has become the focus in this is because it's a spinoff. Pokemon go hand in hand with plushies, actually. Yes, they do. Pokemon, but you have to 1v1 the Pokemon in real life. You get one move from every species you successfully can. Ooh, that'd be fun. VR 1v1 Pokemon. That actually would be interesting. I wouldn't lie. But I'm upset that the focus is on battling. It is very clear there's two types of battling things going on. First of all, it seems like, now granted, I get that this is a Pokemon staple of like, yeah, there's just going to be Pokemon around you or trainers around you who are going to want to just jump out and attack you. Now granted, they do seem to keep them at night, so maybe there is a mechanic to sleep through the night so you don't have to battle as much. But yeah, we're kind of getting that jump mechanic back again. I'm not upset with the jump mechanic itself. I'm upset that it's in a spin-off game. I don't know. Like, it could be used well, it could not be used well. I guess it's the fact that it's doubled up, in a sense. Black and White had so many cool mechanics outside of battle, for example. Yes. But with the main story, like, it is so clear, at least from what I've seen so far in all the videos I've watched. It seems like the main story is we are revitalizing this city, like, trying to spiff it up, I guess. But the way we're going to do it, we're going to save this town, not with a Pokemon talent show, but with a battle royale, essentially. So, like, literally, the whole thing is that Legends ZA battle tournament. And it's like, whoever gets to the top gets to have their wish granted, and, like, I hate that it's ingrained in the story. And I'm only upset with it because this is a spin-off. Like, if this was a mainline Pokemon game, I wouldn't be upset. I would not be upset at all because, like, yeah, that's what a Pokemon is. We'll become school idols, yeah. I'm upset because this is a spin-off and because Legend ZA was not about battling. I'm upset because, where is it? We have so many other battle-focused games, and some of them are even spin-offs. We have Pokemon Stadium. Now, granted, I put the old one in. There's newer ones, Stadium, Coliseum, etc. The TCG cards are all about battling, whether you're doing it in real life or the digital version. In some of the earlier games, and in Galar 2, Paldea wasn't a battle tower. They had their own little battle tournament thing through the school. But we have the battle tower where it was just like, yeah, you just keep battling and keep battling. Now, I will say Sword and Shield was kind of awesome in the sense of, like, we got these great ones where these shit kids had some great one-liners of kneel down before me. I've waited 20 years for this day to come, and I've left behind my family and friends, everything. The only thing for me is this battlefield. Like, okay. But this was part of the mainline story. Mainline stories also have their regulation tournaments. I think that's been in play. I don't remember what Pokemon game that started in, where they started actually doing outside tournaments with them. But they've been in play. We even have 2 mobile games based off it. Pokemon Go picked up battling, where you can do PvP battling apart from NPC battling. And there's Pokemon Masters, which is all focused on battling. The other thing that really gets me of why does ZA even need to bother be battle focused is because Pokemon Champions is being released. Like, this is a battle-centric, battle-focused game. That's it. That's all its focuses on is battling. It is cross-platform. This is scratching the itch for every Pokemon battling. We rarely get a lot of outside games or the spin-off games that are not about battling. I was thinking Legends Arceus and the Legends, like, title series was going to be less about battling and more either about story or other Pokemon mechanics. Pokemon contest focus game now. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. So my biggest upset about Legends ZA is obviously some of the city stuff, some of the mechanics, but I'm mostly upset about the fact that it's focusing on battle. Pokestar Studio, Hidden Grotto, Metals, Join Avenue, Musical Theater, Pacify, Analytics HQ, External Link, Unity Tower, Funfest Missions, X-Transceiver minigames, that's everything in Black... Yeah, exactly. So I'm actually just really upset that it is about battling. Now, I think there's 2 potentially redeeming qualities that would make me buy into this game. Because at this point, I'm not interested. But the 2 things that might make me buy in and eventually crack down and buy it would be, 1, the storyline is actually pretty solid. Like, if they have another really, really solid story, I might do it. Because I'm not a bad battler. Like, I've gotten it down. I understand Sword and Shield is what got me into understanding the natures and the IVs and stuff like that. Mostly because they made them a little bit more visible, so it made it more understandable. So, like, I actually understand deep battling now. And it's not bad, but it is a learning curve. And it's a DS game that weighs like 100 million. Exactly. But yeah, I'm just... buying in. Buying in if the storyline is solid. The other thing that might tip the scales in its favor is because they did hint at this is... Because so far I haven't seen crafting. I do like crafting. I know that's a hot topic between all gamings of whether or not crafting is considered tedious or not. I hope you get 3 seasons of rank to get the Mega Stones for... We're getting there. I have a whole spiel on that too. But buy-in needs to be the story. But the other thing, like I said, because it's a urban redevelopment, and so far we have not seen anything about crafting. If it becomes kind of Sims-like and like, oh, you get to collect these materials and then build these buildings and shopping centers and little parks, I'm not gonna lie, that might make me buy into it. That might be just the tipping point to get me to do it. But the storyline has to be solid, and if it is like sort of like an Animal Crossing like, oh, Sims you get to build the city, that might balance out the overemphasis on battling. Heavily on might. I'm definitely not going to be buying this game on release. This one is definitely going to be a wait and watch other people do it and see if I like it. What if there was just one really cute Pokemon you liked? That would be impressive, because I only like Ditto. I used to fight with people in the Cerebi forums about competitive Pokemon like 18 years ago. Oh wow. It has you. Wait, hold on. My Twitch has been awful. Please. I hate it. My Twitch keeps censoring words. I've turned off that censoring. Like, oh, you did it? Okay, good. Okay, because I was like freaking out. Because my Twitch does do that, though. I don't know why, but my Twitch likes to censor. And it also censors random words. Like, there's one time it censored tooth. Like, what? And I turned off the censoring thing, but whatever. So yeah, the two things that would make me buy into this game would be, oh, and I forgot to put that on there, but we'll talk about it anyways, would be a solid storyline, and if, like, you get to kind of craft up the city. Two more dings against it. One before the biggest one. Pokemon Home as a way to transfer Pokemon. Now, that has been a hot topic for a while now. I did find out, now, first of all, there was an announcement that's saying, like, oh, if you transfer Pokemon into Legends EA, you cannot transfer them out. Yes, I forgot about that. However, I wish, okay, calm down, JoJo. I wish they explained it right off the bat first, because it does half make sense. I think this is still bad design overall, but I kind of give them a pass for the excuse. The reason why, and this is what I found out, the reason why you cannot transfer them out of Legends EA is because they are expanding their language preferences in the game to include more languages. And unfortunately, each language is coded into each and every individual Pokemon. So when you transfer a Pokemon into Legends EA, the code will be added onto that Pokemon, but because it has that newer code, it cannot be read in those other Pokemon games. So on one hand, I get it. I'm glad that they're expanding the languages and stuff like that. But on the other hand, I think that's kind of dumb design that you couldn't plan ahead of for that. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, you know, if you developed Pokemon Home, you should know that you're going to be moving Pokemon around. So there should be coding in each Pokemon that doesn't require it breaking. So yeah, it's kind of hit or miss with the Pokemon Home stuff. Like, I don't think I'll be transferring Pokemon in unless it's like, oh, I need to complete this Pokedex thing, but I don't want to trade or deal with weird stuff. I might do that. That's usually the most I would use it for, but it is a shame that we can't use it, like, as we have up to this point. And I do think that's really dumb design, because it's like, okay, you've had Pokemon Home in development. You knew about it for a very long time. I mean, it's been, what is it? It's been available since Sword and Shield, I want to say, if not before that. Because Pokemon Home essentially is Pokemon Bank, for those who don't know, and it just allows you to transfer Pokemon in between games. Now, granted, like, yeah, that the same kind of is going for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Pikachu and Eevee also has some restrictions, but that one was kind of known because it was, you know, it was a spin-off game, so it wasn't as super important. Let's see, it makes Pokemon Home kind of useless. Also, remember that Pokemon Home is subscription. Not entirely. It is technically free, but, like, you get negligible storage, because I did look into that. Because I had a subscription for a while and had to stop it, but you still technically have some storage with it if you don't have a subscription. But yeah, it's obnoxious. Which does bring me to my final point on why Legends EA might not be the one for me. Pokemon's, or I guess I should say Game Freak and Nintendo's pricing. Now, to be fair, this has been it's been hotly debated. Now, I can't quite argue the $60-$70 tag for the game, because I did kind of go back and check. when I was a kid, I remember Pokemon games were just always expensive. Like, I remember getting Pokemon Gold or Crystal, and like that was like, oh no, that's your birthday present and your Christmas present. Like, this stuff is expensive. And when I looked back in the early 2000s, Pokemon Crystal sold for $40. And if we throw that into our inflation calculator, not calendar, that puts us at $75 today. So technically, base game ZA is appropriately priced. 60 is actually cheaper than what it technically, quote unquote, should be. So I know that would make some people mad, but ultimately I'm like, it's about fair price. Now you could argue about like processing and changes and stuff like that, and the other big thing of like, oh, you're not actually getting a cartridge anymore and you're not getting the actual physical game, and that should knock down the price. That I could technically agree with. I do think digital copies should technically be cheaper than physical copies, but the bigger issue being these two things here. We've got our, where's my pen? We've got our DLCs and that darn online subscription. Is it going to be only, yes, it is only, okay, here's the reason why it says $60.70. It's $60 if you're playing it on the Switch 1. ZA is $70 for Switch 2, which at that point too is also like, why are you charging $10 more? I mean, yeah, I get that it's a little extra coding, but like, no, the price should be exactly the same. It shouldn't matter if it's on a different console. Why is Mario Tennis 90? Okay, to be fair, I did see the preview for Mario Tennis. Mario Tennis is like 5 games in one though. But yeah, it's insane. I understand the argument that games are more expensive to make, and so the baseline prices need to adjust at some point, but life in general is more expensive now, and workers have not been seeing wage adjustments for inflation. I totally agree. The Switch one, yes, it can run ZA. That's what I'm kind of holding out for. I'm like, I am going to be in so much trouble because I only have my Switch 1. I don't plan on upgrading to a Switch 2 anytime soon. But I may be on hot water because, like, if that, I'm not going to lie, if that Animal Crossing game that they keep teasing is going to be Switch 2 exclusive, that might make me upgrade. But so far, most of the more recent games are being released on the one. You did. Okay. The fact people have gone from, holy, it's $60 whole to only 60 in like 5 or 6 years. No, I totally agree. I bought a Switch 2 on release because I'm not very smart. That's okay. To be fair, it is interesting. It, like, especially if we're going from the Switch 1 to a Switch 2, that is an actual upgrade. And like, I don't blame people for purchasing it. I do think it is a little odd that if you upgraded to like, say, like the latest like Switch 1 model with the OLED and everything like that, like you're not getting much of an upgrade apart from like the gimmicky stuff. Yes, Lore Master has such a loud keyboard. Kick him. I can't help it. He's playing Deadlock.
How can they even hear?
Because my microphone is sensitive. Also, we like loud keyboards. I mean, if I started typing on mine, it would probably be just as loud. So the base game being $60, I'm okay with. Not happy, because like world is shit right now, but I'm okay with, especially after looking at the Game Boy Crystal like inflation. Now if the inflation was something ridiculous, I'd probably be madder. But like the fact that it stayed kind of the same, I'm not too unhappy. Now, what makes me vehemently angry, which I'm going to switch over. Where is it? There we go. What makes me vehemently angry is this. First of all, why, once again, we talked about this earlier, why is this being announced before the game? Or like right when the game has been announced? Like DLCs, I'm fine with DLCs if it's like post-game stuff and it needs more time for development. But if this has already been developed and it works and they're ready to launch, then this should be in this. There is no reason for that DLC. Real, I cannot stand not getting audible feedback from keyboards. It's the ADHD me. Same. I can pay $60 for a Pokemon DLC before release is insane. Yes. If it's not a good noise that ticks my brain, then you don't give a fuck about how good the keyboard actually is. I agree. I've had some more keyboards that were silent and it drove me nuts. But yes, DLC, like this, there's no excuse for this. If this has already been produced and it's ready to go, it should be in base game and there should be no additional charge. What also makes me mad about it, now it was the same for both of these though. Although I am curious about this one. At least with these two, there is an additional story. There's like an epilogue, essentially, which, okay. There's also newer Pokemon, newer legendaries. Okay. I'm kind of upset because actually, you know what's kind of interesting is I noticed this pattern when, where is it? Where are those fuckers? Did I not have a picture of it? I did not. This is the closest picture I've got. There we go. I noticed the DLC pattern starting to happen when these fuckers here, pardon my language, decided putting paywalls behind their Pokemon. That's one of the main reasons why I dropped Pokemon Go. Was at this point, the only two ways Pokemons would be, like, the only Pokemon that would ever be blocked were, like, some of the actual in real life region locked ones where it's like, oh yeah, you need, if you want Tropico, or what is it, Tropius, you needed to go to, like, Southeast Asia or something like that. Like, I was half okay with that. That does kind of upset me that I can't get all the Pokemon. And if that was the limitation, I was fine. But the problem is like, they started literally putting legendaries and other major Pokemon behind paywalls. Like, literally, that is the only way you could get them, is to pay additional money. I was fine with paying for raid passes. I was fine for paying for lures and stuff like that. Those were reasonable things for me. And, like, you could pay with them with in-game currency as well. It was when they switched to, hey, you want this exclusive Pokemon? No, you have to use in real-life currency to have it. I was pissed, and the more they started cracking down on it, it made me leave. The other thing that made me leave was just, I was having also back problems, and when I exercise, I wanted to be able to keep my neck upright and relieve my back problems, and if you play Pokemon Go outside while doing your exercises, your neck is craned down, so it made it worse. So apart from the physical aspect of making me drop it, I was really, really pissed when they started paywalling Pokemon, and I feel like these guys really kind of niggled their way into corrupting the mainline Pokemon. Now, granted, that might not have happened. They might have come up with this money guzzling stuff on their own. But I do feel like, because the timing is perfect. When I started seeing more of that happen, that's when this DLC stuff started dropping, and it was just like, they picked it up, didn't they? All right, catching back up with chat. Let's see. Noise. Raichu continuing to be the unfavorite by getting its Mega Evolution locked behind Day 1 DLC. Yeah. Also, they have are clearly based on Pikachu more than Raichu. They really are. Do you want Raichu Mega? $30, please. Yes. Quando Omni Fluncus Moritati. Yes, that means, I forgot what that means. My blind is completely blanking. It is like right there, but it's blanking out. That is the Possum Lodge motto. Something, remember your death, or laugh in life and death. Something like that. All right. Can't remember. I was only half paying attention, so I need to redeem the cone again. No, you're good. I just took the cone off. I'm leaving the cone on. I gave you permacone. Let's see, that's why the best games have single premium currency you could both buy and earn from achievements. Yes, and Nintendo is in their hardcore, please give me money, yeah. When all else fails, play dead. That's it. Thank you, Carrion. You're amazing. Thank you for the hydrate. I definitely need that. Let's go, permacone. Yeah. So like I said, I'm upset with that. I'm upset that they're locking Pokemon again behind a paywall. And I'm also upset with this. Now, this has become an ongoing issue since Sword and Shield, or basically since Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, if you really think about it. This right here. Unless you knew people in real life you could trade with, good luck trying to complete your Pokedex. Because now, like, everything requires an online connection. You want to complete the Pokedex, you want to do the raids, you want to do anything, you have to have the online subscription. I love the red-green show. Yes, I do too. That's why the Possum Lodge is called the Possum Lodge. That's why I'm Possum Lodge specifically number 23. To not be confused with the actual Possum Lodge. But yeah, I was pretty upset that I'm also just upset in general. Like, Nintendo Online, first of all, I hate to begin with. We shouldn't have to pay, like, if the fact that you had a DS and the DS could connect to online services and you did not have to pay for that, the Switch shouldn't need payment services for online. I'm sorry. Like, you already established that we could connect to the internet without having to pay. This shouldn't even exist. Because, like, I mean, I will say comparative to, like, the Xbox One and PlayStation, pricing isn't as bad. Like, their regular package is only $20 a year, with family being $35. Now, I do think this is stupid. I think if you purchase, like, if it's an online subscription for your Switch, it should work for any user that uses that Switch. Ooh, nice new PNG. Thank you, Raven. So the fact that you have to have a separate family subscription so that way every user on the Switch has online connection is kind of dumb. I'm sorry. It should just be flat. You pay a subscription for that one device. Now, granted, they do have that expansion one, which is what I do pay for. I will say, the Switch is my one thing I do buckle into, just for the fact that, like, with all my chronic illnesses and stuff like that, the Switch is kind of like the one thing I could go to continue to play games while being in a more comfortable position, because unfortunately sitting upright at a desk really wears me out. So I do, and I bought this expansion pack specifically for Splatoon and to have access for Animal Crossing stuff. If it didn't have that and like those other Nintendo games, I probably would not have invested in it. The expansion is, I would like to just buy the GBA. Exactly. I think you can buy the emulator separately now. I thought I saw that in the Nintendo store recently. I might be wrong. Or it's a fake page and it's just like, oh yeah, here's the Game Boy emulator. You click on it and it's like, oh, here's the subscription. Buy our subscription. I don't know. You can't. I don't know. But I'm upset that you need to even just pay to be online. I hate that Pokemon is locking more and more stuff behind online stuff. I'm also super, super furious about the shiny locking. So the last several games, at least since Sword and Shield, prior to Sword and Shield, I'll clarify, legendary Pokemon, you could still get shiny versions of them. In the game, it was hard, and you would have to soft reset a lot, and you have to work for it, yada, 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 but it wasn't bad. Like, it was harder than most shiny Pokemons, but eventually you could get a shiny legendary. It was work, but it was worth it. Ever since Sword and Shield, they locked the legendaries being shiny. Like, they still have shiny versions, but you are no longer allowed to get them in base game. I am getting more and more peeved that they're locking them behind events or going to GameStop. For example, I really wanted a shiny, I forgot the name of the Pokemon, Zamazenta? I don't know, the sword one. I called it a knife. I nicknamed him a knife because he held the sword. I wanted a shiny knife. But of course, I go to my GameStop, and they're out of codes because the Pokemon fandom is in shambles right now. It has been for quite a while. I know 2020 made the Pokemon fandom a lot worse because everyone was home and kind of went back to their nostalgic roots. But yeah, I'm just so upset. A knife, yes. My sword puppy was called a knife. I'm surprised it actually didn't get filtered out for the name, but whatever. I had to overpower people for shiny codes. It was exactly. And the fact that they're doing it again for freaking Scarlet Violet. I can't have, oh, I'm zoomed in. Let me zoom out. There we go. I can't have my shiny rideable bike. Like, that's not fair. Now, granted, I could hope, like, 2 generations down the road they'll release it. Like, I look at, what is it? Scarlet Violet recently had a raid event, which had shiny Rayquaza, which, then allowed me to get it. So they could do that in the future and have, like, all the raid events, but that's also stupid because you need the online subscription to do those special events. So once again, you gotta pay for it to get it. And I'm just, ugh. I know it's gonna keep hitting my neck because of the way I have, because of the way I have stream avatar set up. There's like a block around my character and it kind of messes with the what is it? The stream avatar movement stuff. But yeah, I am thoroughly furious with their pricing. I hate that they're locking Pokemon behind, they're just locking them behind paywalls. And it's sad. It's sad to see the state of it. I get it to a certain extent. But it's not fair. It's not fair that Legends EA is being battle focused. It's not fair that they're locking Pokemon behind money. It's not fair that they're locking them behind events. And like, on one hand, I get it. They want engagement. But on the other hand, it's frustrating. I can't believe they would do this. Exactly. Ugh. But yeah. That's my rant. I could go on forever. We could go on to the old Pokemon games and start comparing stuff, but I think that covers it. I'm upset with ZA. Like I said, the only thing I'm hoping that would get me to buy into this game is that either A, we get a little bit of a Sims-like urban city building stuff and the storyline's good, and if those two are solid, yeah, I might invest in it. But if not, I'm highly, highly, highly disappointed in this Legends. I was hoping this series was going to keep up with the non-battle focused, more story-themed, more looking into the history and gimmicks of what makes the Pokemon world a Pokemon world. But so far, it doesn't look like we're getting it. It's just a shame. Yeah, you get more money from just making a good game. Silksong is actively proving this. Exactly. Clappy, thank you. I'm calling President Pokemon and telling him to include zero story. Wow, and no buildings. Wow. Thanks for expressing your opinion on this, Opie. You're welcome. I had fun ranting on this. To be honest, I need this for two reasons. One, I did really want to rant about Legends EA because I was frustrated because when all those mega announcements got released, I was tired of seeing the hype. Like, I get it. I get the hype around the megas, but at the same time, it's just like, no, this is not a Legends game. I am upset. So I wanted to get that out. But two, I also had like some family politics stuff going on. And I wanted to, like, it was building up a need to rant. And this satisfied that need to rant. So I'm happy. There's a handful of side games that I haven't played and can't comment on. But I think mostly in agreement with you on pretty much everything you said. Thank you. I'm glad. It was very cool to listen to. Yay! Reason 2 therapy. Yeah. But yeah. So we got some history of Pokemon. Learned some new fun facts. Hopefully, I don't know. Unfortunately, that's the other thing, and I did mark it in my notebook. I have it next to, like, the pricing, because I have a notebook separate here to keep me on, like, all the notes and my crazy, like, schizo, like, ranting about this is, with this pricing, though, it is unfortunate that Nintendo knows their fans, and we buckle every time. It really is. It's unfortunate, and I get it, because, like, even with Scarlet Violet, yeah, I buckled. I buckle every time. I might even buckle for ZA. This one I actually might hold off on, but there's a chance. Random question, how would one share Opie fan art? I actually do think, did I make a tag for that? It might be on my Twitter. Let me pull that up. Plus, I could check to see who we are going to raid. Discord, yes, Discord is good. Twitter is good. Pretty much anywhere is good, really. Let me see. And if you need to tag it, what would I have? No, I didn't come up with the tag. I guess you could just say Opie fan art, whatever, or just Opie, Miss Opie Possum. I don't care. But yeah, Discord is great. I have an art channel on Discord. I think that's open to everyone. It's not just restricted to me. If not, let me know. Otherwise, just throw it in general. Or the possum pile, I should say. I don't think DePass has a fan art tag. I do not. Blue Sky? I do have Blue Sky. Feel free to tag me there as well. I haven't used it in a while. Mostly because it's like, I've gotten like, oh, my feed got weird. So I need to go and get that fixed and probably start reposting there as well. I haven't been posting it in a while. You print it and put it in a rock and throw it at Lore Master's car. Yes. That's exactly how you get it to me. Put it on a rock, throw it at his car. Mail it to get it. Yeah. But all right. Thank you guys for joining me. Let me go. You know, we'll go back to just chatting. There we go. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see all of you guys soon. Like I said, I still have that September 23rd stream planned. I still want to do that. Slime Rancher is going to finally leave early access, so I am stoked. If more Pokemon news gets released, I'll be happy to do another rant. I definitely will be playing probably Pokopia or whatever, Poketopia or whatever it's called. That's not going to be released for a while though. So, but yeah, thank you for joining. Throws it from here, yes. Let's see who we're going to raid. Oh, Ryan's live. Ryan is a comfy ASMR streamer. She is currently on the bug grind. She's playing Hollow Knight. Kudos to her because I gave up. I mostly gave up not because I don't like hard games. I gave up because I got lost and I was tired of getting lost, and like the game punishes you for getting lost, which sucks. So thanks for streaming. Have a good one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Opie becomes a Pokemon news streamer. I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to be a Pokemon news streamer. Slime Rancher 2, I gotta make sure to keep it up to date then. Yes, yes, yes. We're finally getting our, our drones so we could automate our farms. She is very bug grinded. Yes, Ryan is. There's our raid messages. We have one for subscribers, one for non-subscribers. But yeah, be on the lookout for September 23rd. If something else comes up between now and then, you know, I try to at least, I borked this one. I forgot to post this on Discord earlier. I posted it on Twitter, but I forgot to stick it on Discord that I was planning to do a stream today. I'll be better. But if something comes up, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, let me get Ryan pulled up here. There we go. And I'm going to get this set so I can hear her. Perfect. But all right, I will see you guys around. I hope you guys have a good morning, noon, or night wherever you are. Be on the lookout for alerts if I stream again. Otherwise, I'll probably see you guys on September 23rd. Bye-bye.